beach right now.
Which is about to cave in, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, maybe we should have like and they obviously had a bug out plan as far as the bus.
Uh-huh.
But they had no rally point?
Apparently not.
I know.
All right, so we go back to Daryl at the crossroads. He's kind of sulking about Beth being gone when another group rolls up, led by Joe. It's the same group that was at Rick's house earlier. And then they see that, he's a bowman, and once a bowman, always a bowman. Mm-hmm. And they decide to give him the quote-unquote choice to join them or die, essentially. What do you think about these guys? I mean, we know a lot about them given last episode, or not last episode, the episode before that, where they were in the house. We know they're kind of all just assholes, and he reaffirms that when he says, "Why hurt yourself when you can hurt other people?" First of all, do you think this is Joe from Joe and Joe Jr.'s barbecue?
No,
you don't.
Clearly, no. The guy.
Okay,
no, Joe.
This isn't Joe Jr.?
Ooh, I mean, I guess maybe.
It makes me wonder.
How old was the Joe-looking zombie? Because that was Joe, I assume.
That was Joe because he couldn't do well.
I mean, there's no proof, but I just assumed
That's
it
true.
was Joe.
I did
and
too.
He didn't look
I
like
don't
he was
know
old
why.
enough to be Tennis Ball's daddy.
So maybe Tennis Ball is his daddy.
Oh,
so he's Joe.
He's Joe Senior.
Yeah, he's the real Joe.
I don't give a shit. Does that surprise you?
Not really. But when he says, "Why hurt yourself when you can hurt other people?" it just makes me wonder what's in the barbecue sauce.
Ooh,
that's all.
That's a line that makes your skin crawl.
Yeah.
So a couple things. The more I think about it, the more I think that there's no way this group and the one that abducted Beth can be related.
I don't think so. No.
Because they would have Beth with them.
Yeah. Unless they're... And they didn't seem to have any kind of base camp. They just roam looking for... Like, just scavenging and having fun.
Unless this is the terminus, equivalent of the Woodbury Goon Squad, which is still on the table.
That's true.
Also, this bowman talk. I mean, again... I've just gotten an archer in the last couple of weeks, but as far as I can tell, the stats he rattled off about that crossbow is applicable for 95% of crossbows manufactured in the last 15 years. It's basically like, oh, that car you got burns unleaded fuel and gets at least 100 horsepower. I'll be donkey sucked. You must be a car guy.
He doesn't say donkey sucked. He says donkey licked. It's far less vulgar.
Lick, suck? Fuck you, man. What the hell? So I just thought that was pretty funny. Right. I thought the whole bowman speech was kind of funny to begin with.
Yeah.
And then the way that they used that, you've got a pretty fucking average crossbow to meet some bare minimum that you'd want hunting. The other thing that John H. Clued me into on the Facebook thread is that Daryl's crossbow has no sights.
Oh, yeah.
He stares down the thing where you'd mount a sight.
Like the rail, right?
But there is actually nothing mounted there. And I'm
weird.
Still assuming you can, because a traditional bow doesn't have sights and, people can be quite lethal with them. But it's just kind of funny that he eschews any kind of modern aiming systems on a fucking compound crossbow.
It's Daryl Dixon. He doesn't need that shit.
Hell no. He uses
doesn't need that bullshit.
So there we go, man. What else we got? What else we want to talk about on that scene?
I don't know. I just like how, he tells him his name and he asks him what his name is, and he's just like, Daryl. And he just stares him up and down. He's just like, I'm going to kill you guys eventually.
And we know, again, no way Daryl has changed sides or pulled a Merle. He's just going along with this to not die.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just going to survive. So we get to the final scene.
What did you think about my moose fucker hypothesis? Do you think Do you think there's going to be a moment where he has to join in on some moose fucking,
some hazing,
some moose raping / innocent people killing festivities, and he's going to have to Daryl Dixon it? Hopefully, he'll be able to find a gurney in that situation.
I hope so. Yeah, just keep all 6 of those guys behind it.
Yeah,
like they're dumb as walkers. I don't know. I think you're probably right. They're going to test his mettle at some point. That's what groups always do with new members.
Sure, especially this group.
Like I saw in True Detective.
Yeah, especially especially this group. It's like, I'm sleeping in this bed. Fuck you.
Oh yeah, I'm going to choke you out. No, you're not choking out Daryl.
I'm not sleeping in this slightly less comfortable bed. I'm going to choke you half to death, bitch.
That's actually what it was like at BiPAX when we all shared the house. to see who gets the room. We all started choking each other out.
Man. I actually suggested that on the first day because there was some that I'm like, y'all want to just strip down your waist and start like just pit fight this out?
Yeah, Kirk style.
Because I like my chances. Maybe Levi or Eric would get, but you know, I think I'm in the top 2 at least.
For sure. You're getting one of the good rooms.
Yeah.
All right. Final scene. Maggie and Sasha catch up to Bob. And I like this scene. I liked this a lot. It was touching. Bob looks very happy here now that he's been reunited with his group.
Bob also a slow-ass mosier. He takes his time getting up the rails.
I guess so, because they caught up with him pretty quick.
And it didn't look like they were out of breath or were like double timing it. Just, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe he was just hoping that's what, you know, he was like counting on Sasha changing her mind. And so he was not in any hurry to pull away.
Kind of waiting for them as well.
Yeah.
I like the ending of this episode. It was as close, I think, as Walking Dead gets to a feel-good episode at the end. They don't do this very often, and certainly it's not completely feel-good. Beth is gone. Daryl is with some assholes. But there's a lot of hope at the end of this one, and the idea that this group is reunited at the end feels really good, I think.
They got reunited and it felt so good? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, not so many words.
That's
my serenade for
I was
going to
say, that was a perfect chance for you to get your duet on.
All right, that's it for the episode, man. Do we have some pimping to do?
Oh yeah, that comes before the feedback. Shit, got caught unawares. So yeah, if you like what we do, check out our affiliates. We're part of the Bald Move Network. We got tons of content at baldmove.com. Not just Walking Dead, but Game of Thrones. We got Mad Men. We got Breaking Bad. Don't forget our affiliates, the Personal Arrogance crew out of Seattle. This week, Jim and I took over the show for the first half hour, talking about our Bipacks adventure. That was fun. The boys also talk. They start their own TV network, talking about TV and some movies, and also new cheeses. This is a supersized episode. I have not got a chance to listen to it.
I didn't know cheeses were still being invented.
Right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you know, the atomic chart. Like, we know everything that can or can theoretically be, you know, you're not going to just flip a benzine ring and woof, new cheese. But you have to listen to them for the latest. Also, the Girls at Picard show talking about dirty dungeons, female condoms, and the thing they like to call what comes around goes around. Apparently, it's Dirty Dungeons. It's Wakaka. It's Dirty Dungeons and female condoms. Check them out. You can support us, as always, using our Amazon link at amazon.baldmove.com, where a tiny portion of your shopping cart goes to support us. You can also try our new Subbable.com, subbable.com/baldmove, where you can directly contribute to the manufacturing of our podcast on a monthly basis and save up your contributions to redeem cool perks. Check it out if you haven't already. We'd appreciate it. Probably going to be another giveaway coming up. I've got season 3 of Game of Thrones DVDs, and I want to give it away to people that are one of the subscribers to our Subbable account, which doesn't cost anything to do, by the way. So you might want to get on that this week to get a leg up on the competition. What else? What else do I need to talk about? What else do I need to pick?
I think that's it, man. Let's go.
Right.
Let's go.
Rate reviews on iTunes.
Okay.
Oh, and Kelly and Tom, they just did their season finale of Downton Abbey, and they've been crushing it this season.
Yeah.
I was cracking up listening to the latest because I'm a Downton Abbey fan. Feedback?
Yes. Let's.
Are you interested in some feedback?
No, totally not. This is the end of the cast.
No. we have obligations. Anthony B says, "I'm trying to get in this Daryl and Death."
Oh,
Daryl and Beth.
It's a Freudian slip there.
It's like if you had a celebrity couple, they'd be Beryl or Death.
Yeah. I don't want Death. Let's go with Beryl.
It's a barrel of fun. The Daryl and Beth relationship. I can't do it. I can see a big brother approach their relationship, but a love affair. Maybe the show is trying to push it in that direction until they get to Terminus, whereas Daryl will let it go. Ooh, spurned Beth. I understand they're in Apocalypse, and he's a man and she's a teenager, but this doesn't fit Daryl. And I have to say, finally, it only took 4 years for AMC to even have a person of color kiss another person of color. Got a little racial up in here. Is that even true? Because I feel like Dawn's secretary Dawn.
Dawn, yeah. On Mad Men.
He kissed a dude like 2 seasons ago.
I think you're right about that, yeah.
I'm not willing to gainsay Anthony here on it.
Sure. They don't have, okay.
This show doesn't have the greatest race reputation.
Yes.
So
it's a little more obvious when things like that happen in this show.
Yeah, but yeah, it's always nice to see. Brian W. says, I have a theory about Bob. Haven't read anything about this, and I'm not sure if people are talking about this directly or if he's just drinking antifreeze and wood grain alcohol. But I believe Bob could be immune to walkers, meaning they don't sense him. The reasons he gives is he was in 2 groups and everyone died except him. This epi was walking around in the woods in the beginning with walkers all around him and no one bothered him.
But, let me just stop you there.
So,
he's sitting in that grate behind his makeshift grate, and the walker is clearly trying to get him while he's drinking his NyQuil.
That's true, but they don't smell him. I thought walkers were
They smell NyQuil on his breath?
No, I mean, they don't smell some ripe Bob Angelo.
I don't think walkers go for smell, do they? They go after noise and movement,
They
I thought.
surely go after smell. That's like how the Guts gambit worked. That's how the Michonne gambit works.
That's true. Or maybe that was sight.
Anyway, third point, he's always smiling, sensing a freedom from the walkers, but not realizing the power he has. I consider this theory unlikely. What about you, Jim?
Okay. I'll say that too.
All right. Then let's just move on. Michael P. says, have you guys heard that Norm, speaking of Norman Reedus, plays Daryl as a virgin? Those guys on AfterBuzz said that, so I don't know if I should believe them. Well, rest easy, Michael. I actually looked it up, and there's multiple interviews all attesting to the fact that Norman Reedus is playing Daryl Dixon as a virgin. In particular, he says someone that if it was kissed, his reaction would be like, ew.
Okay.
So that explains... That explains a lot.
Sure, yeah.
And especially with his growing up and his then, going from an abusive father and family relationship to being a wandering woodsman to shacking up with his gang-banging, meth-snorting, African-American beating brother, I could see him being a virgin at this point. And
yeah, I don't know where he's had time.
Does that make it more or less likely that he would saddle up to a younger person?
Maybe they have that in common. I don't know that Beth has ever got it on with one of her short-lived boyfriends.
Well, by the way, I looked at up Emily Kinney's stats. She's 28 years old.
Wow.
Unfucking believable.
Yeah, she plays well younger than that.
And in fact, I want to say that we know she's at least out of high school because of some obscure memory I have about season 2.
But yeah, you might be right. I thought that was related to Maggie.
Well, Maggie's clearly...
she's obviously at high school, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe not in Beverly Hills 90210, where you can repeat until you're 35. But in fucking rural Georgia, yeah, they graduate people. I don't know. I actually think it's more likely a person that has little experience would be less threatened by another person who's kind of matched with him experience-wise.
Sure, that seems to make sense.
And is there anything inherently exploitative about a mid-30s guy shacking up with a 18-year-old zombie survivor?
I don't feel like there would be in this relationship, honestly.
Let's hold court on this situation.
Well, let's talk about what we've seen on the screen, right? I mean, this is not something where Daryl has just been pressuring her for sex or something. I mean, there's a genuine relationship building up here.
That's the point I made on like the instant cast thread rather.
Yeah,
is that it would be a different level of creepy if this relationship hadn't been so far chaste.
Sure, and instigated a lot by Beth, I think, as well.
Yeah,
right?
It's been one-sided hugs and handhelds and like stammered declarations of maybe affection.
Yeah.
If they were just like moving on to mouth sucking or basic cable sex at this
donkey
point.
Sucking.
They were donkey licking.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be down for it.
Sure. No, I'm with you. I think the way that it's developed, it could make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it doesn't feel predatory.
No.
Michelle asks, you question why Beth is hanging on to the trinkets, jewelry, and cash found on the side of the road after her quote-unquote kidnapping. I think the bag was actually Daryl's leather man purse that he stuffed full of money and baubles when they were in a country club last episode. Perhaps we were supposed to pick up on the fact that it was Beth With mere seconds to get out of the house to safety, the one thing she grabbed was the thing she thought meant most to Daryl.
I don't think that's true because she's wearing the backpack during the piggyback
That
scene.
doesn't mean anything. They could exchange backpacks.
Really? Daryl is going to have her carry his bag for him?
Oh, well, Beth was carrying his crossbow, so I guess that's now her property. They never do shit like that.
She was learning how to use it. I don't think she has to learn how to use a bag.
Clearly, because it was dropped on the ground and exploded. That's not how you use a bag.
I'm just saying, based on her wearing it in that piggyback scene, I would say no.
All right. Jeff In says, I have a feeling that next week we'll find out that a loan actually took place. This is a good theory. I have a feeling next week we'll find out that a loan actually took place chronologically before claimed. The choked out man really died, and Daryl was one of the people in the house where Rick was hiding.
I think that's brilliant. If they pull that off, that's awesome.
Also, I debated about putting this right after this email because there's some interesting dialogue that could either prove, disprove, or cast doubt or reasonable. I'm trying to cover all my bases here so people don't know. But basically, if you turn on closed captioning during the episode where during Claimed, you could hear a lot more of the dialogue going on downstairs where Rick first wakes up than you could if you're just watching television.
Yeah.
I decided that discretion's a better part of valor, and I'm putting that in the first thing I tackle after the spoiler section.
Really? That's in an episode that happened already.
Yeah, but I that's what I'm saying. I just don't know because I
don't think that's a spoiler at all. Honestly.
I don't either, but I just want to be sensitive to people. So if you want,
fair enough.
Listen to the very first thing I consider after spoiler section.
But don't forget to turn it off because you're fucked if you do.
I will definitely tell you to fuck off at the end of that. Okay. So I'll take that much responsibility. Right. But I just want to say that there might be some more to this.
Yeah.
Frankie G was nervous about Daryl and Beth's closeness, but found myself drawn into Daryl's newfound optimism and possibility of good people still being out there. I'm pretty sure that he was lured to the door and to the Walker masses, but I was right there with him, assuming that the person who knocked on the door was a quote-unquote good person. I felt his hurt and shame for letting his guard down again, even after what happened when he let his guard down about the governor. Bad things happen when when Dixon stops being a badass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that this is going to this is going to hurt or help his character development?
Ooh. I feel like where they left it, he was pretty, I guess, demoralized by the situation. Like, he thought there were good people, and then Beth gets taken, and it's just like his world comes crashing down again.
Tooken too.
I just saw Taken 2 the other day.
I haven't seen it yet, but Liam Neeson, for the record, is my shit.
All right. Awesome. So, yeah, I mean, I think this is going to set him back a little bit, certainly until he finds Beth. I think once that happens, he'll be kind of back to normal Daryl.
All right.
But I think he's still a good guy, right? He's not going to go along with these dudes who just want to hurt everybody.
Oh, by the way, she has been abducted, woe be to the poor sons of bitches that Daryl Dixon finds.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you recall, like in season 2, he was ready to get medieval on that young teenage punk's ass that they found from the Nebraska group. The guy fell out the fucking roof and got his leg impaled on the fence.
And they brought him back.
He's ready to out and out torture that guy, and did.
Yeah.
And he had no real reason other than Rick said, hey, sweat this guy for information.
Yeah.
You fuck with his first girlfriend crush? Hell hath no fury, man.
No, not at all.
Kimberly M says, I like the relationship building between Daryl and Beth. I think Daryl's emotionally immature, and I don't think that he would actually act on his feelings he may have for Beth. I think his feelings are more like a younger boy, not the man he is, which would coincide with him playing it as a virgin, Kimberly.
Sure.
So that's perceptive. I also, as for the house they stopped at, I think all the one-eyed dog needed was an eye patch. I think that place was like the witch's house in Hansel and Gretel, fattened them up a bit, and I think all those walkers were led there to either separate or somehow weaken the pair.
It's totally possible.
Yeah, we just don't know.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be one of the major things we'll hopefully find out before the end of the season.
Yeah, once we find the first aid guy, first aid car, we'll find out more, I think.
Tom ponders how if blood is thicker than water when he says, I only have blood relatives, but I'm pretty sure in the middle of the zombie apocalypse, if I was split up with my half-sibling by some crazed tank-welding gang, I would have my step-sibling on my mind. So why on earth is Maggie going on and on about Glenn, but no mention of Beth at all? We have no answer for you there, Tom. No answer at all.
I actually did look this up. There was a thread about this, very short one on Reddit, where they question this, and someone said that Glenn is kind of her anchor to this group, and last she knew, as far as she knows, Beth could be with Glenn, and that's the idea, that if she finds Glenn, she will find Beth. I don't know that she has any reason to believe that, though.
That's one of those things where it sounds great, except for there's zero on-screen evidence that supports that.
Yeah, she went off to look for Beth.
Yes, exactly. Where's
she
Beth?
Wasn't on the bus.
Yeah, left Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd think there would be at least a mention of it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why the writers didn't have some perfunctory sort of mention.
Noel Dub asks, just wanted to see what your views are on the overall performance of the Gimple so far. I personally have been really impressed by the way he's developed the characters while moving the story on. Take the Governor episodes, for example. Okay, they weren't the greatest, but the fact that at least they'd made an effort to address him as a person and show his motivation. And it's far beyond what we got in earlier seasons. Similarly, the episode still, again, was a bit stupid with the whole thing going to get a drink, but the development we got from these characters was totally worth it. Especially Daryl, as in that episode and the recent Alone, have shown that he is not a superhuman, which I felt like he was becoming. Furthermore, the extra leg room he was given to the other actors, Chandler, Denai, Chad, Lawrence, I have no idea. I can't pronounce that person's name. Soniqua? Is that Sasha?
Soniqua, yeah.
Soniqua, okay. Well, damn. Just like it's spelled. Take that, English language.
Right? Kind of like Martinez.
Fuck you, man. Raw wound. And Emily has been particularly pleasing. It seemed in earlier episodes it had to revolve around Daryl, Rick, Carl, Michonne, Glenn and Maggie and Herschel, but now these other characters can stretch their legs with differing results, I'll admit, but still. Along this line, I believe Jim has said in the instant cast have been brave to keep the characters apart. That was me, sir.
Probably was.
Probably. But as they've been brave to
go back and listen.
They've been brave to have these bottle episodes. They've been brave to address the issues of psychotic murderers, murderous young girl, and some of the upcoming material. They have this brave attitude that could really pay off. Okay, it's not Breaking Bad, but the show can improve to the same degree in the next season as much as it has, and things could be really looking up. AKA something we've been saying since season 2.
Since 2 showrunners ago. I'm of the mind to agree with him.
Yeah.
In that the first, how many episodes were there? 8 last season. So the first 5 of those were really, really good.
They sure were.
I like those a lot. Now we're looking at the second half, and I think 4 out of 5 of these have been really good.
I'll give you 3 out of 5.
Okay, but one of them was bad, I think.
Yes.
And another one might have been like kind of average.
Yes.
But I think 3 of them have been really strong at least. That's a good ratio of crap to awesome episodes, I think.
Yeah.
It's certainly better than like a season 2 ratio.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I still think their strongest run is tail end of season 2 to first the head end of season 3. And they have not strung together a better 16 episode stretch than those. But
yeah, you're probably right.
You know, I mean, again, on the give a shit scale, they've definitely been scoring on these episodes. That, you know, I talked about that in Instant Cast. So I feel like the people making the show give a shit, or they just shoveling stuff out there because, you know, people like zombies and shock value. And also, I feel like that Noel here is really right in that if you're going to go overboard on something, I'd much rather them go overboard on characterization, because even if it doesn't work in this episode, the concepts are sound that then gives them more interesting things to do in the future.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're just going around in circles like we saw in the first half of season 2, you are not only not entertaining me in the present, but you're also not giving anything to play off in the future.
That's a very good point.
So, yeah.
And great action doesn't do that either, right?
Exactly. Great action is the frosting on the cake. You don't give a shit if there's no stakes and you don't care about the characters. And that's one of the problems with like that they've got with some of these little girls, endangering them and stuff. It's like I'm not invested enough in them to care. In fact, they're
creepy.
The characters are creepy and annoying. But Daryl and Beth, I care about.
Yeah.
So Ben from Ottawa says, if there's still any debate, I think Beth is definitely snatched up via trap. There was a trap at the beginning on entering the house. Number one is is a fully stocked house food-wise. Number two, the dog running up and then the dog being back again before the zombie wave. I think the dog is affiliated with whoever captured Beth. A crazy twist, the dog is a master in the art of zombie herding.
It's like a sheepdog,
yeah.
But a walker dog.
But seriously, I think the dog belongs to the captor. It would be very easy to train a dog to be bait for a zombie and like lead them to a door and then sprint as soon as they get there.
Walkers don't go after animals, do they?
I think they do. We've seen zombies chowing down on woodland creatures. Sure, we have.
Yeah, you might be right.
No, I'm right.
But how did the cows and the deer survive? I guess they were just out on the farm somewhere.
If they can just walk away.
Yeah.
I mean, although
I guess if they don't get swarmed, they're
they
okay.
say that prehistoric humans, before they invented arrows and shit, like walked animals to death.
Oh yeah, because we can do the endurance.
We got the endurance, and they've so it's like maybe walkers do that with animals, but I also think that a deer could just like fuck off, and then a zombie would lose interest. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, maybe they do go after animals, and this is a master walker herd.
I would say that like a 4,000, 5,000 person herd would just be like a locust. It would just scour the landscape of life.
Oh yeah.
Eating
all the ladybugs. Beth would have nothing to eat.
She didn't eat the ladybug, man. Crackpot theory from Ben. Beth was captured because she's a quote-unquote breeder.
That's horrifying.
It is horrifying.
But totally possible in this world.
Also want to point out the fact that the mortician was dressing up the zombies was seen by Beth as a goodness. Doesn't necessarily mean that he/she was is actually good. He could just be one creepy/sick dude.
True.
Because, yeah, you're right. That shit is something that could be seen in another light as creepy. Amanda D says, you've been having the same problem I have. Why didn't Rick's group see that all the terminus signs during their months at the prison? Well, in order to watch a show without too much mental stress, I came up with the following theory. In episode 10, Inmates, the two idiots that Tyrese met along the tracks were putting up the signs. This theory solves two problems. First, it tells us that the signs are very recent. And second, it gives those two idiots a reason to be where they were when they died at the hands of our four slow walkers. I think the writers even wanted us to put those pieces together, since the two guys were saying to follow the tracks. But if they did want us to put the two and two together, they should have left terminus maps littered around their dead bodies.
That's a good theory. I
like it, man. She puts forth a theory and also gives the evidence against. That's the mind of a scientist. I like it.
I like it very much, and I think that's very possible that that's what they wanted us to think.
All right, moving on to Lindsay from Oregon. I really liked the shot of Maggie, Sasha, and Bob fighting the zombies in the fog. She's breaks with me in that. I also wish the scene would have been a little bit more fleshed out with a little bit more action and movement. Also, the fact that a bandage would stop a zombie bite was Daryl Dixon's voice. Some bullshit. I always thought the duct tape theory would absolutely... I have a theory about why I'm losing my Rick accent.
Because you're trying to...
We don't ever see him anymore.
That's true, yeah.
And I think he's getting better.
He probably is, yeah. After 5 years of this now.
Because season 1 Rick, I can still nail. But now he's got this like Batman filter he's putting on everything. And I just haven't got the trick of that.
Huh.
Anyway, I always thought the duct tape theory was absolutely ridiculous, but this has topped it. I also wish they would have played around at the cemetery and the idea that zombies would be trying to rise out of their graves like the classic zombie genre trope. Seemed like they had a great opportunity and didn't do much with it. That's the first thing I thought when I saw the cemetery. I'm like, man, if you dug up like a grave from the last 5 years, because I'm understanding that modern embalming techniques are pretty good.
Okay.
Are they just going to be squirming around down there?
Probably so. That's the thing. You can't have in a show that purports to be a little more realistic than particular zombie fare, like your typical zombie fare. You can't have walkers digging themselves out of coffins 6 feet under. I don't care. Look, kiddo, I don't care how many 6-inch punches you do on this thing or how many times you watch Kill Bill. You're not getting out of there.
Yeah. Especially since in reality they'd be in like a steel vault as well.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, I understand that happens a lot in zombie movies because they're B movies and they're over the top.
Sure.
But in this, they want to go a little more realistic.
It would be interesting if they like set something in like New Orleans or someplace that floods a lot, and they actually
and it's just eroded.
Yeah, or like they're going through a cemetery and there's like some flooding, and because that literally has happened before, where because caskets are buoyant, and when you get the ground saturated enough water, coffins have been known to just shoot the fuck up and spill their contents out, and it's disgusting.
That's awesome.
That would be an awesome set piece if they get tired of, if they run out of some ideas. They've already done the mud
spin-off.
zombie.
Walking Dead Bayou. There we go.
TWD Bayou. What else did I miss?
What was her first half of her email? Because
fuck, I don't know.
we should have talked about that.
We did. It was like she liked the Zombies in the Fog, but she thought it was lacking because it didn't have a bit more action and movement. Maybe that's what I thought. I thought that
That's
the
what
scene was a little unfinished.
That's what I got from you, yeah.
And she didn't like the duct tape theory, but she
I
did
want to
like
talk
the
about that.
zombies.
If you've watched Mythbusters, you know the duct tape is really strong. Like, you can stop cars with enough duct tape.
Sure.
I think that would work.
I totally
Bandages,
do.
okay, I'll give you that. Maybe not, but duct tape, yeah.
I'm just saying that, if you have a doubt, like throw a T-shirt over a heavenly ham and go to town. See if you can bite through that shit.
Okay.
And maybe the zombies have broken teeth and they're going to be a little bit more jagged, but that gives you a reasonable estimate. Corduroy might as well be fucking chainmail to zombies, I think.
Corduroy?
A leather jacket?
Yeah.
No, you're safe.
Yeah. Motorcycle leathers, you're good.
Oh yeah, there's no way they're going to be biting through cowhide and sea armor. There's
You
just
may
no way.
collapse from heat stroke, but that's about it.
Finally, I'd like to know, continuing on Lindsay's thought, finally I'd like to know what you guys thought of the stray dog and a metaphor it could possibly serve for Daryl and perhaps a foreshadowing. I'm getting Breaking Bad flashbacks of the stray dog and whether it meant Jesse or whether it was, problem dog.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't. So do you think the stray dog could represent Daryl?
I think it could. I mean, it's one badass dog and Daryl's one badass dude.
That's true. The badass angle. If you throw in the real life badass chops at this animal, baby. That's all I got except for spoilers.
Okay. Well, let's wrap up the show and then we'll do some spoilers.
If you'd like to send us feedback, do so at walkingdead@baldmove.com. You can follow us always, our live threads at facebook.com/baldmove or Twitter @baldmove. Not the greatest place to get your feedback considered yet, because we traditionally just pretty much pull that off of email. So I find some people frustrated because they sent me private messages, and I do like correspond and respond, but I'd never think to pull that in my notes. Maybe when we actually get to working on this full time, I'll do a better job of that. But
yeah, I think we both pretty much always respond on Facebook and Twitter. Mm-hmm. So if you want to do that, go through social media. If you really want to get on the show, email.
That's the best way.
That's the best way.
Remember, if you want to, the first section of spoilers is just going to be a transcript of the closed captioning for the episode claimed.
Okay.
So if you consider that a spoiler, then shut off now. If not, I'll tell you when to fuck off at the end of that.
All right.
And
is that
else
it?
We'll see you on the other side of spoiler music.
Yeah, definitely. See you next week after the episode for the Instant Cast. And until then, I'm Jim.
And I'm Aaron. Bye.
And we're back with the spoiler section. Let's do the non-spoiler spoiler first.
George from Brooklyn provides some closed captioning of the claimed episode where the conversation downstairs where Rick is lying in bed. Man says, "I'm sorry." Man 2 says, "You're a coward. You're a lying coward. That's all you'll ever be." Man, "No, please don't do this. We can work this out." Man 2, "This ain't your business. Shut up. It's gonna happen." Man 3, "You planning on finishing the job?" Man 2, "Yeah." Man 4, "I'm getting an earache. I know he's just going to let his ass squeal." Man 3, "After what he did, the man deserves to bleed." Man 4, "Y'all stay down there if you want." Now, after this part is where the talk I can't catch, but someone made a transcript out of it. Someone says, because I guess it's not even good enough for closed captioning, but someone says, son of a bitch, but we can't tell which one it is. Man says, you shouldn't have drawn that knife, Shirley. Then there's something about all the power in that bow, but it's all dampened by Rick's rushing around and breathing. You can also hear them say the name Kavanaugh. Does anyone know what Kavanaugh might be?
No, I don't.
Then something about food, socks, and sleeping bags. Something about one-time offer only, buddy. Following by the words rape and condoms mixed in. The footsteps didn't get too loud and drowned out the words. But then we get one final quote. Man 1 says, we're moving out, and some jumbling. Clean up your mess, Farley. George says, this is where it gets dark, but we know Rick's timeline is ahead of Daryl and Beth's. Could the bow and mention of a one-time offer be a conversation between Daryl and his new gang?
That's not a bad guess. So you think... It sounds like maybe Daryl tried to take these guys out, and then they choked him out or something, and now they've got him captured, or they want him to torture somebody, and they don't think he will.
Wasn't there a gunshot towards the end of there? I thought so.
The only gunshot I remember is when the walkers busted out of the or the walker busted out of the bathroom.
I mean, it could be, and that would be very interesting. It would give that a whole new light.
Yeah, that's a layer that you put that on there. It's really cool.
But so far, we don't have any proof other than what we got here.
If they mention a bow,
but there was a dude. There was at least one dude in Tennis Ball's group that had a compound,
like a real bow.
He was a bow man, not a crossbow man.
I noticed that they wouldn't let him aim the bow at Daryl because he had the thing drawn. Yeah. So he slips up and he could actually shoot Norman Reedus. So they had him pointing at the ground.
Huh.
It's interesting. Whereas with the crossbow, you could take out the firing mechanism and right.
I suppose I don't
know.
Or
put a plate on the back of it and disguise it.
I feel like you can do the same thing. Because I've looked in this movie prop, because now it's when you get into firearms, you start noticing how bad the firearm stunts are.
Yeah.
Holy shit! When you get in archery, you realize how fucking stupid the archery is. I've been watching shit like 300 and some of these things, you can actually see it on camera. The guys shoot the arrows and half of them go forward 3 feet. Because they're using these ridiculously low draw weights for safety reasons, and also it's really hard to hold back a traditional bow.
Oh yeah,
because you're it's if it's a 75-pound bow, you're holding back 75 pounds.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
But it feels like they could make a fake bow or a fake draw weight or
what do you
CGI in a bow?
Or,
probably an arrow.
An arrow. What do you think about this idea that Daryl could be in there? I mean, do you think it's likely based on that conversation?
I don't know, because the thing is, what would it change? Rick and Michonne and them leave. Mm-hmm. We know that. It would just be interesting texture for, if we saw them down there in episode 7 and this dialogue repeats, it would just be kind of an interesting layer of texture, I guess.
Sure. And I think, it could add to this theme of Daryl being alone because he's so close to Rick, Michonne, and Carl. None of them know it.
It also could show us what kind of guys we're dealing with and how hard it's going to be for Daryl, because we're talking about, raping and killing people.
I mean, even if it was just choking somebody out for a bed.
Yeah.
That's pretty harsh.
I think Daryl could do that.
Okay. That's my bed. Choke you out.
We got anything else to talk about?
In the non-spoiler spoiler section? No.
All right. So if you don't want to hear any more comics / show spoilers, you should shut off the message. You should shut off the whole internet. Shut off the podcast now. I'm just going to babble on a little bit to give you opportunity to do that in case you've fallen asleep, which I guess happens from time to time listening to our podcast. You want to turn it off now, because I want to get in some speculation.
Okay.
A lot of people had to delete a lot of people's comments on Facebook this week because people can't stop talking about the fucking hunters.
Oh, yeah. Those cannibals.
The probability that the hunters are the ones that abducted Beth.
So, would it be a good idea for the hunters to roll around in what looks like a first aid vehicle?
Sure, why not?
I think it would be. I think it would be an awesome idea if you're trying to eat people. A, you find people who are, looking for other people. And B, these people are probably already hurt. So they're easy to capture and to eat.
Right. No,
So that would be pretty cool. I could see that happening.
I just think that I don't think tennis ball is the hunters. Mm-hmm. And I don't think there's any affiliation between tennis ball and what you call the hearse, the first aid hearse.
Yeah.
The meta hearse. I just can't see it combining. And I'm also just concerned that, well, not concerned, maybe hopeful, that some of this end of the season talk that we thought might have been Negan and his group is actually going to be introducing the hunters instead. Because the other thing is, I think the whole point of the hunters was to show how good Rick's group had gotten. And when they, that they were the equal in a positive way from any of the scumbag apocalyptic groups. Mm-hmm. Which then later led to Rick being way overconfident dealing with Negan because he finally met a group of assholes that was well organized and dedicated to their assholery as him and his group was to virtuously surviving.
Yeah.
And led him to make a lot of stupid decisions. And I think that was kind of the lesson there. So I don't think you can have one without the other, and that's what I was worried about. So maybe this savagery is going to be our introduction to the hunters, and we don't get to the safe zone. We don't get to Terminus yet. The group gets together and meets on the way, but they have to deal with this, and that's going to be the cliffhanger for this season, and a nice climactic arc for episodes 3 through whatever of next season, leading up to the safe zone and setting that up for some,
I like that, especially given what Sasha says about how far away Terminus looks.
Yeah, and the fact that we don't have enough time to introduce the hunters and the Terminus and Negan. There's just not enough. There's only 3 episodes left. If you watch the teaser stuff for this season, for this next episode, we know it's going to largely be about Carol and Tyrese and the fucking girls.
Mm-hmm. Good.
But we've got 2 really good directors coming up with the next 2 episodes. And Michelle MacLaren finishing things. She's known above all else for her skill in directing action.
Yeah.
So maybe there is the initial skirmish with the hunters. Or we find out ominously what's happened to Beth, or,
Yeah, from what you've described, I really don't want them to skip the hunters. I think it sounds like like you said, it's the one in the 1-2 punch, right?
Yeah. I think that you could do either or neither, but the one leads to the other. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Having said that, we get to Dash from California says, I think the Hunter's plot is developing because in the comic, Dale is the one who is eaten and who is no longer alive. The next obvious choice is going to be Tyrese. He's kind of taken on the Dale role of questioning the morality of certain actions or the inhumanity of the world, such as his reluctance to kill walkers at the fence at the prison. Now he's has a wound whose origin is unclear, and we know that Daryl gets the last laugh on the Hunters in the comic book because he's quote-unquote tainted. Since Tyrese has already outlived his comic book version, I say he's the tainted meat that will be eaten. Hopefully he takes out a few Hunters before that. I've already talked about my take on that. What do you think, Jim?
I guess, I can't think of a Dale equivalent in any significant way at this point. It was Herschel, but he's obviously gone. As far as Tyrese being that, I don't see why not. He just doesn't seem to be in the same league as like a Dale or a Herschel, as far as like hope and caring about stuff. And
sure,
he's really just about his dead girlfriend Karen.
Yeah. Moving on then.
Sure.
Chris from Massachusetts says, I just want to share my thoughts on a possible route the show could go with Beth's abduction. The cross in the back of the car immediately made me think of Gabriel returning home from a supply run and seeing a frightened Beth running for her life. Replace the church, he hold himself up with a funeral home and take the makeup walkers as his way of reporting for his sins of locking the parishioners out in fear of them turning and killing him in the time of the apocalypse, and you have a slightly new way of introducing an old character. That's also a strong take.
It makes a lot of sense. I have not read that in the comics, and I don't know really much about the Gabriel character at all.
So he's a cowardly priest that locked himself in a church rather than give his parishioners shelter.
Okay.
I don't know that the cross in that back is a Christian cross, though.
It is not. I can almost say that with certainty that it is not.
Yeah, I'm not a Christian myself, so I'm not an authority on such matters, but I have seen a cross from time to time that didn't.
God, is there anybody who hasn't seen a cross? Like a religious cross?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know. So that would be awesome, though. I mean,
yeah.
And again, it doesn't have to be a priest. It can be, as he said, a mortician. Mm-hmm. And, it could be that Beth is not in any danger at all. Chris from Massachusetts. Wait, just did Chris from Massachusetts. The guy who loves it when they call them big pasta says he offers a bit of I'm offering a bit of speculation on where I think the show is headed. The separate stories have happened out of order, and I have a feeling the show will pull a Pulp Fiction moment on us sometime in the next couple episodes. The first time I felt like this could be the direction the show is headed when I saw the close up of the shoe that Beth is sobbing over. That happened at the beginning of episode 9. The next scene, Tyrese and the girls walked by, and we had an intentional shot of the shoe that Mika was wearing that appeared to be the same color. This left me wondering why it hadn't paid off, or why we haven't seen Carl Tyrese group since their episode. And it was only after Daryl met up with the home invaders that I realized that we may be setting up for a huge Pulp Fiction-like moment. Could it be that Mika suffered an awful fate at the hands of the Lizzie Walker, and the show was left for Daryl and Beth to stumble upon? And since the story is out of sync, possibly Daryl was with the home invaders during Rick's suspenseful under the bed moment. Some popular support building for that. How ironic would it be if the most beloved character in the show is killed by the walker Rick released from the bathroom?
Oh, man.
That would be ironic. I don't buy the Mika shoe because the way they staged and set up that episode makes me believe that, yes, they're playing fast and loose with the plot, but either Daryl and Beth got there. What would bring Tyrese and them back to that section of the track? That exact same section that those dudes died.
Yeah, so when he meets up with Carol, they're at that section.
Yes.
I assume they walk off.
Yes.
Why would they backtrack?
And we already saw Daryl and Beth finding the berries that they'd eaten or whatever. They found the dead bunnies. So we know that it's not before then. I just don't see how the timing, if it comes out like that, I want to say that it's going to be more me being annoyed that they really did a poor job editing that episode.
Okay.
And or writing and or directing and blocking it.
Yeah, I'm not going to rule it out, but it seems unlikely based on the timeline.
But I do think the overall theme that there's some Pulp Fiction moments ahead for us could be accurate, and that's the beauty of playing with a fragmented group. You can do stuff like that.
Sure.
That's
you have anything else? Okay.
That's it, man.
All right, then let's call it a cast. Shall we?
Cast is called. You're a cast podcast.
All right. Then I'm Jim. I'll see you guys next week after the episode.
Yep. Bye.